Hello my dear students. Hope all of you are keeping fine at your home. I know you all enjoyed the lesson I Will Fly by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. His speech emphasizes on the uniqueness of each individual. I am pretty sure that now you all gain the confidence to deliver a speech on any topic with the confidence you get from the lesson I Will Fly. Am I right? If you are in our school, you get the opportunity to do some creative works based on I Will Fly, like drama, skit, poem or write-up. But now it's not possible, isn't it? But you don't need to worry. Now also you can do such creative works at your home and please send to us. Okay? Okay, all right. Now the situation has completely changed. See, you are at your home watching TV or downloading classes from your laptop or through your phone. See, we teachers are here to teach you on this online platform. Actually, it's a time for all of you to make new friends, new plans, new thoughts, isn't it? Now you all are missing those wonderful moments of your life. But there is another positive side for us. What's that? Yeah, excellent. What's that thing? Now you have the time to think, rethink, analyze. Reanalyze? Is such a word there? Yes, search, research, etc. We are actually living happily in this world, isn't it? Have you ever thought of a world outside our planet? അവിടെയും ജീവജാലങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കുമോ? അവരും നമ്മളെപ്പോലായിരിക്കുമോ? അവരും ദേ ഇതുപോലെ ഓൺലൈൻ ക്ലാസ്സിലായിരിക്കുമോ? ചിന്തിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ നിങ്ങൾ അങ്ങനെ? ഓക്കെ, ലെറ്റ്സ് ഹാവ് എ ലുക്ക്. യെസ്, ഇറ്റ്സ് യൂണിവേഴ്സ്. വാട്ട് ഡു യു സേ? Wow, it's marvelous, right? See, Mercury, Venus, oh, the largest planet, Jupiter, Saturn. Beautiful, right? When I was a child, I used to gaze on the starry night and I had these questions in my mind. Where did the universe come from? Is there a boundary in this universe? Will it come to an end? If so, how? Oh my God! Sun is moving. Oh, it's too hot, right? Oh. Aha! The moon is here. It's very cold and it's very nice to sleep under a blanket, right? Oh, what is that blue dot there? It's nearing. Oh, it's our Earth. While comparing with Sun, it's very small, right? Dear Mother Earth, can you suggest me a way to clear my doubts? Oof. What's that? Yes, it's a wheelchair. But is it an ordinary wheelchair that we used for the old people? No, even I do have the same opinion. Do you find any specialty in this wheelchair? Yes, it's a wheelchair used by differently able. I again correct. What's it? By people have cerebral disorders. So, it's a thought analyzing wheelchair, isn't it?
I will help you.
It's a talking one. Oh my god. You are going to help me? How is it be possible? It's a book titled Quest for a Theory of Everything. Quest means?
Search.
So searching for a theory of everything in the universe. That's wonderful. Who wrote this book?
Kitty Gale Ferguson.
Kitty Gale Ferguson. Sorry, sir. I don't know much about her.
Well, Kitty Gale Ferguson is a science writer, lecturer, and a former professional musician. She has authored numerous science books, including books on biographical facts. Her works are important for their degree of accuracy and detailed explanation. She is known for their ability to explain very complicated scientific concepts.
Oh, that's great!
It's a book about Stephen Hawking, and this will help you to clear all your doubts.
Stephen Hawking? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know much about him.
Don't worry, my dear. I will tell you everything about him. Actually, this chair belongs to him.
Really? Could you please help me to say some more about him?
Okay, I will tell you an incident. In the year 1980, April 29, in the Cockcroft lecture room.
Excuse me, sir. Where is that cockroach lecture room?
It's lecture hall of theatre in the Cambridge University.
Okay.
In that Cockcroft lecture room, scientists and university dignitaries.
I'm really sorry to interrupt you. I need a clarification for the word dignitaries.
Dignitaries mean famous personalities, famous people or distinguished guests.
Okay, alright.
They are sitting in a steep tiers of seats, and the people are facing a two-story wall of chalkboard and a slide screen.
Sir, ഈ തട്ടായിട്ടുള്ളതിനെയാണോ സ്റ്റീപ്പ് ടിയേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് സീറ്റ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്?
Yes, absolutely. Do you know about the occasion?
No, sir. Students, do you want to know about the occasion? Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, the occasion was the inaugural lecture by a new Lucasian professor of mathematics.
Lucasian professor of mathematics?
Yeah, the Lucasian professor of mathematics is the mathematics professorship in the University of Cambridge, England. Its holder is known as the Lucasian professor.
Okay, sir.
So, the occasion was about the inaugural lecture of a 38-year-old mathematician and physicist Stephen Hawking. And the title of the lecture was a question: is the end in sight for theoretical physics? Have you heard about theoretical physics?
Yes, sir. You see, there are different branches of physics, and one of them is theoretical physics. Unlike other branches of physics, theoretical physics employs mathematical models to explain and predict natural phenomena. അപ്പോൾ ഈ തിയററ്റിക്കൽ ഫിസിക്സിനൊക്കെ അവസാനമായെന്നാണോ അദ്ദേഹം ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്?
Absolutely, dear. Stephen Hawking shocked the listeners by asserting that he thought it was.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you frankly, I'm also shocked.
And he invited all the audience to join him in a sensational escape through time and space to find the Holy Grail of science.
Holy Grail of Science. Uh-huh.
There is a myth behind the Holy Grail. Holy Grail stands for the cup that Jesus Christ used during the Last Supper. And here, Holy Grail stands for the theory that explains the universe and everything that happens in it.
So, Holy Grail is an idiom, right? It's like if we develop a medicine for COVID-19, it's a Holy Grail for medical field. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Sir, actually, I would like to know about Stephen Hawking. Could you please help me for the same?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, this is Stephen Hawking? Do you think that he is such a promising figure to lead any adventure? No, even I do have the same opinion. But it's not fair to analyze a thing or to reach a conclusion just by analyzing a person with his mere appearance. So, let's have a journey through the life of Stephen Hawking. Are you ready to join with me? Yes. Take your text, page number 19. Please read the first 3 paragraphs and underline the difficult terms. Okay? Quest for a theory of everything. Kitty Gale Ferguson. In the Cockcroft Lecture Room on April 29, 1980, scientists and university dignitaries gathered in steep tiers of seats facing a 2-story wall of chalkboard and slide screen. The occasion was the inaugural lecture by a new Lucasian professor of mathematics, the 38-year-old mathematician and physicist Stephen Hawking. The title of the lecture was a question: Is the end in sight for theoretical physics? Hawking startled his listeners by announcing that he thought it was. He invited them to join him in a sensational escape through time and space to find the Holy Grail of science, the theory that explains the universe and everything that happens in it. Stephen Hawking sat silently in a wheelchair while one of his students read his lecture to the assembled company. Judged by appearance alone, Hawking didn't seem a promising choice to lead any adventure. So, let me ask you, which is the date and year mentioned here? Yes, it is. It's in April 29, 1980. Okay, what was happened there? Right, scientists, university and university dignitaries are assembled there, assembled there to hear. Right, absolutely. What's it? Inaugural lecture of Stephen Hawking. So let ask you, what is this inaugural meaning? Very good. Inaugural meaning opening, isn't it? So it was the inaugural lecture of a 38-year-old mathematician and physicist Stephen Hawking. Okay, then what is the title of the lecture? Yes, is the end in sight for theoretical physics. Very good. Is the end in sight for theoretical physics. Do you know what does startle mean? Startle, yes. Shocked, very good. shocked, isn't it? We were startled by the ring of my cell phone. Okay, how did Hawking startle the audience? Ah, come on. By telling them that there was an end in sight for theoretical physics. Very good. I hope all of you remember what is the Holy Grail mentioned by Stephen Hawking. Come on, what's the Holy Grail meant by Stephen Hawking? Yes, very good, my dear. The theory that explains everything in the universe, isn't it? And everything that happens in it. Okay, let me ask you. Stephen Hawking didn't appear to be a promising figure or a promising choice to lead any adventure. See the picture? Why? Why you are saying like that? Yeah, point by point. Yes, first one. He was sitting in a wheelchair while one of his students was reading his lecture to the audience. Then what happened? His appearance was not healthy. It's not healthy, and naturally he did not appear to be a promising choice to lead any adventure. Okay, hope that the idea is clear to you. Okay, now we can go to the next couple of paragraphs. Do you want to know the biography of Stephen Hawking? Let's read the paragraph together. Are you ready? Okay. Stephen William Hawking was born on 8th January 1942 in Oxford, England. It was exactly 300 years after the death of Galileo, the father of modern science. Frank and Isabel Hawking, Stephen's parents, were not wealthy, but they believed in the value of education. So, they planned for Stephen to go to Westminster, a famous public school in the heart of London. Unfortunately, Stephen was ill at the time of the scholarship examination for Westminster. Therefore, he attended the local St. Alban school. By the time he was 8, he was thinking seriously about becoming a scientist. Frank Hawking encouraged his son to follow him into medicine, but Stephen found biology too imprecise. He wanted a subject in which he could look for exact answers and get to the root of things. Young Stephen was no prodigy. He was just an ordinary English schoolboy, slow in learning to read, his handwriting the despair of his teachers. He was ranked no more than halfway up in his class, though he now says in his own defense, it was a very bright class. At 14, Stephen knew that he would pursue mathematics and physics. His father called this impractical, for there were no jobs in mathematics except teaching. Moreover, he wanted his son to attend his own college, and Oxford offered no mathematics. He followed his father's advice and studied chemistry, physics, and only a little mathematics in preparation for the entrance into Oxford. He did well in physics and the interview was brilliantly accepted. Let me ask you some questions. Okay, first thing, when was Stephen Hawking born? When was Stephen Hawking born? Yes, he was born on 8th January 1942 in Oxford, England. Very good. And it was exactly 300 years after the death of Galileo. Students, do you know who is this Galileo? Yes, he invented telescope, the father of modern science. Now you please tell me, who were the parents of Stephen Hawking? Correct. Frank and Isabel. Were they wealthy? No, but they firmly believed in the value of education. So what did they do? They wanted Stephen to go to Westminster. Very good. See the picture? It's Westminster, and it is a famous public school in the heart of London. But why he didn't join there? Why? Because Stephen was ill at the time of scholarship examination for Westminster. Then finally what happened? He had joined the local St. Albans school. Okay, very good. So when young Stephen was of 8 years of age, what did he think? Yes, he began to thought seriously to become a scientist, isn't it? How many of you want to become a scientist? Yeah. 1, 2. Oh, very good, very good, very nice. Now, can you say something about Stephen's childhood? Say it point by point. Stephen Hawking was born on 8th January 1942 in Oxford, England. His parents were Frank and Isabel Hawking, but they were not wealthy. But they firmly believed in the value of education. Hawking attended the local St. Albans school. By the time when Stephen was 8, he seriously thinking of becoming a scientist. His father wanted him to study medicine, but Stephen was not interested in biology. But what was Stephen's interest? He wanted a subject in which he could look for exact answers. He was just an ordinary schoolboy, very slow in learning, and his handwriting was horrible. Well done, my dear students. Fantastic. Let me ask you, do you know the meaning of prodigy? Yes, prodigy means genius. He was not among the top rankers in the class, and for his own defense, he says, it was a very bright class. What does it mean? അതെ നമ്മൾ ചെറിയ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പഠിക്കുമ്പോഴേ റാങ്ക് കുറവാണെങ്കിലേ എന്നാ പറയും അച്ഛനമ്മയൊക്കെ ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ക്ലാസ്സിലാണ് ആ സ്കൂളിലെ മുഴുവൻ പഠിക്കുന്ന പിള്ളേരും പറയാറില്ലയോ അത് തന്നെ കാര്യം സ്റ്റീഫൻ വാസ് റാങ്ക്ഡ് somewhere in the middle of the class. In which all subjects he was interested at the age of 14? Mathematics and physics. Frank Hawking did not support the interest of Stephen Hawking. Do you know why? Yes, there were 2 reasons. Which are they? First one, there were no jobs in mathematics except teaching. Okay, then the second one, he wanted his son to attend his own college. Which is that college? Oxford. And Oxford offered no mathematics. Finally, what happened? He followed his father's advice and studied chemistry, physics, and only a little mathematics for the entrance exam into Oxford. Then he did very well in physics and the interview was brilliantly accepted. So now it's the time for you to move on to the next 3 paragraphs. Please go through the text. Okay? In 1959, at the age of 17, Hawking went to Oxford to study natural science and to specialize in physics. He joined University College, his father's college and the oldest at Oxford, founded in 1249 AD. Nevertheless, for about a year and a half, Hawking was lonely and bored. He was not inspired to relieve his boredom by exerting himself academically. But halfway through his second year, he began enjoying Oxford. He became popular and well accepted among his peers. They remember him as lively, buoyant, and adaptable. He wore his hair long and famous for his wit, liked classical music and science fiction, and took part in sports. Hope you all enjoyed it, isn't it? Okay, let me tell you. At your age of sweet 17s, where did Stephen go? Yes, Stephen went to Oxford to study natural science and to specialize in physics, isn't it? Yes. After that, where did he join? Yes, that's right. He then joined the University College. That is his father's college, and it is the oldest at Oxford, which was founded in 1249 AD. Correct. Can you tell me something about Hawking's life at Oxford? Yeah, point by point, okay? First one, yes. During his early times at Oxford, he felt lonely and bored. And then, right, and then he was not ready to relieve his boredom by indulging himself in his studies. എത്ര ബോറായാലും പഠിത്തത്തിലോട് ശ്രദ്ധ തിരിക്കാൻ സ്റ്റീഫന് താല്പര്യമില്ല അല്ലേ? But gradually what happened? During his second year, he began enjoying his life at Oxford. What was the opinion of Stephen Hawking's friends about him? First one, he was lively and buoyant then, and adaptable too. He always preferred long hair, and was interesting factor was that he had a very good sense of humor. He liked classical music, science fiction, and he even took part in sports. Do you know he was talented in rowing? Hope you all remember the song. Row, row, row a boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is like a dream. Aha! Do you know the meaning of the word buoyant? B-U-O-Y-A-N-T, buoyant. Yes, it's a term which means cheerful. Show me a cheerful face. Come on, let's say cheese. Cheese. Good. Later, a twist is going to happen in the life of Stephen Hawking. I know you are eagerly waiting to know more about that twist, isn't it? That I will tell you in my next class. Can I give you an assignment? Okay. Can a person be judged by appearance alone? Justify your response. I repeat, can a person be judged by appearance alone? Justify your response. So, you all have to write your response in your notebook and send to your teacher. Okay? We have to learn the remaining part of Stephen Hawking in our next class. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Okay?